Hiya, so my name's Ben. Welcome to my channel Kobusuru. This is a channel I've had for a while. I've just not used it much, especially recently with my past work. I couldn't really do anything YouTube wise, and every time I tried I kind of ended up giving up because the reality is you've got to put so many hours into this kind of stuff if you really want to do it properly. So I've never been able to do it in the past. But anyway, what is this channel for? So I am going through cancer treatment myself for initially bowel cancer, but it spread a bit, so it's like metastasis, classed as stage 4, which obviously once upon a time was the end of the world. I've not worked for the past 18 months, and I decided recently that since I'm going to be getting retired from my work, that it gives me an opportunity to do something that I've maybe wanted to do since pre-2010, back when I used to edit videos for friends and do little YouTube videos myself. I never had the time, never had the money back then to do things. Well, actually I had the time, I didn't have the money. Then when I got the money, I didn't have the time. Typical. But now here I am. I spent the past 18 months sitting, playing video games, playing with my cars, and I had a few suggestions from people saying maybe I should blog or just kind of document my journey, as I'm 29, and for me this all started when I was 27. It's not unheard of, but shocking to a lot of people for someone my age to get what I've got. So, you know, why not shed some light on it for the people that maybe were the same as me and didn't think that something like this would ever affect them. So, other than that, I thought I'd use this kind of platform to talk about my journey, keep you updated. So, I guess to start with, I'll run through my journey through this. I wouldn't really say, well, I guess illness from the start. So, back in about November 2022, the year that I had just started my job, I noticed a lump in my lower abdomen. I only noticed it because my cat, Odie short for Odin because one eye, walked over my stomach, and I thought, ouch, that hurt. And I felt it and noticed I had a lump. I just assumed I had a hernia due to my training at the gym. I got checked at the doctors. They said not hernia, it's in the wrong place to be a hernia. So the next step was to kind of a bit of a further observation, but I kind of had nothing for a few months. No, it just kind of went radio silent. Started to get a lot more pain in my abdomen. So eventually I rebooked to go and see a GP, and they started throwing out, I don't think it is this, but I am concerned, so I'm going to have a colonoscopy. Have a colonoscopy, not pleasant, would not advise it to anyone, but also would because it's technically what has got me to where I am now. So again, colonoscopy, doctor, oh yeah, it looks bad, don't think it's anything malignant, great, but it'll have to come out anyway, okay, that's fine. And then fast forward to June 23, and we get dragged into a little room in the hospital to be told that the biopsy from my bowel was cancerous. So there we are. Nothing can really prepare you for being told something like that. That was it. I got told kind of that they'll contact a few places. I had to go store some man stuff, as we had no children, and obviously we did want to have children, so had to do that. My hospital had never had to do that before, which I found unbelievable. So that added quite a bit of time onto me starting my treatment. But anyway, fast forward to August 23, that was when I started my first chemotherapy. It wasn't bad, not pleasant. I was there, I'd go and I'd have a line in my arm, which I don't have anymore. and I'd be there for about 6 hours having just kind of all sorts flushed through me. Then I'd get sent home with a little bottle that was still attached to my arm for 48 hours. Never had much severe side effects, just kind of felt sicky. Sometimes I was sick on the odd kind of treatment day, and it just kind of made me groggy until that bottle came off. Once that came off, it was pretty alright and tolerable. I'd have this every fortnight. I'd have the treatment. So the idea was I'd have 6 rounds, one every fortnight, and then a scan to see how it was going. So it gets around 5, and I went into anaphylactic shock. I suddenly became allergic to the treatment I was on. Again, threw everyone into a bizarre kind of meltdown, because they say typically people will have allergic reactions to that treatment, but not so much to the point of going straight anaphylaxis. So I was kind of on a break, not sure what was going to happen, and then got to December 23, and due to the tumour get kind of increase in size, my bowel had come to a full blockage. So I was in hospital in severe pain, had not really been to the toilet for like 2-3 days. Had a scan and it was fully blocked due to the tumour. So it was a bit of a problem, because I was due to have my main surgery down at a hospital in Manchester, which is over an hour from where I live, on the 22nd of December, and this was like the start of December. So they had to kind of discuss, and the plan and the way we went forward is I had keyhole surgery and they fitted a stoma bag to me, which basically means my waste now comes out of a bag through a hole in my stomach, so to speak. It's quite hard to get used to living with at start, but it is what it is. It's there for a reason. I can have it reversed depending how things go from now, but that solved that. I was in hospital for almost a week, but again, no, not really much of an issue, thankfully. So then 22nd of December, travelled down to Manchester to have the tumour removed. My stomach fully cut open, obviously take the main tumour out, and they kind of said there was quite a bit more spread than they expected, in a way. So they removed a lot of bits around my abdomen that they could, but they couldn't remove all of it due to the fact it could then risk opening up ways for the cells to spread out of my lower abdomen, as it's all inside of a sac, so to speak, currently. So it's kind of stuck where it is in one area. If they accidentally perforated, say, the sac into my chest, then obviously the cells have the opportunity to then spread up to obviously my upper body, which is then going to be obviously pretty bad. So then the plan was to have more treatment after that. So then I can't particularly remember when I went back. I went back to my the hospital I have my chemotherapy and started a new treatment. Obviously they're not going to let me have the one I had before. And then up until June 2024, I had quite a few. I had some rounds of treatment, and I think I got to round 5 again, and I had another obstruction in my bowel. So again, it stopped working. Went to my local hospital, and this time, due to this surgery, my bowel had got itself stuck, and it's called an adhesion due to the surgery. Which obviously it was stuck somewhere and kind of squeezed, like being squashed, so nothing could pass through. So I had to have my stomach cut open again, and the doctor unpicked it, and everything kind of went back to normal. But that was a very hard hospital visit, as before that happened, I had a doctor that basically told me, my wife and my mother-in-law and some other nurses that were in the room that basically I had a couple of weeks left to live, and this was in June. Completely blew his mind. No one had mentioned this before. They told me this in the morning, and I was like, no, you'd not told me this, I'd remember. And then after that, it never got mentioned again. So, no idea what had happened. Every morning after that, I was expecting someone to say the same, and all they kept saying was, "We're just waiting for this and this to happen, then you'll go for your operation to have the bowel unpicked." Yeah, horrible time. So, and then I had the surgery, went back to normal. I was in the hospital for about 4 weeks, got out, all good, and then after a month or two again, I started on my treatment again, and I finally managed to do a whole 6 rounds for the first time since I started my treatment. 6 rounds of chemotherapy, had a scan, and was told that it was stable. This was like October 24. They said that it's stable, no more growth, it's not spread anywhere, and it was the best news we'd had in about, I don't know, well over a year, going on nearly a year and a half, I think. And yeah, I loved it. I had a nice 8-week break, so I actually got to have a break that I earned for a change, and went back to my treatment after that. And then New Year Day this year, 2025, had another problem. 4 hours having another obstruction. Thankfully, it was just a partial obstruction. So I was given some pain relief whilst I was at hospital, and it started working again itself, no problems. But then after that, my stomach was just constantly hurting, and it was so bloated, I thought it was like going to burst. So it was so bloated that I don't know why. And I had to go in another 2-3 times to the hospital to have pain relief, because it was just happening again. Like, I thought I was going into obstruction, and it wasn't. Got pain relief, and they just gave me pain relief and sent me home. So got put on a new treatment, which I can't really complain about, as it is much faster. I don't have to spend 6 hours in the hospital. Every 2 weeks I have the cannula, and the treatment is kind of obviously just dripped through for, it's going to go down to half an hour at some point, but for now it's an hour, and I get sent home with some chemotherapy tablets, which I have for 10 days. I was on this new treatment, here we go again, got to the last day of the tablets, and for some reason I was just in severe stomach pains, different to before, as my stoma was still working. So this time I went up to my hospital where I had my treatment done, and they treated it as a partial obstruction again. The scans showed there was a partial kind of restriction, so things were kind of struggling to go through. So I was kind of starved pretty much for like 3 days until things were kind of flowing, and then I started getting a temperature. So they did a load of blood tests, infection tests, and they said there was like some kind of inflammatory and infection markers. I'm not sure what it was, so I got given a course of antibiotics, and they must have worked, as this was only a couple of weeks ago. I had 8 days in the hospital. I had a course of antibiotics, and since then and since the antibiotics, all the pains I've had all this year so far have gone. So I believe the partial obstruction at the start of the year, which bloated my stomach out, must have left some kind of underlying inflammation or infection, and the antibiotics have kind of cleared it up for now, thankfully. It's been, over 18 months now, going up to like 20 months I've been going through this. Everything that could go wrong, pretty much I've had. I've been obviously told, currently it's not curable, and you get told these things, and you have 2 choices, don't you? You kind of accept it and you just let it happen, or you just stay positive and you keep fighting. I genuinely believe that I will keep going. I can't mentally let something like this beat me. I'm not even 30 yet, which doesn't matter. There's people younger than me that have had things like this. If I can shine some light on these kind of problems and spread some positivity that, no matter how hard things may be for you, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you've been told by a professional or somebody else. You just gotta believe in yourself, keep yourself mentally strong. That's one of the biggest things. That's me. Now, let's talk about me cars. This is my car, my Nissan Skyline 350 GT, very controversial car, known probably mostly as the Infiniti G35, as that is what America got. This is a Japanese import, only Japan had it. We didn't get these in the UK, we didn't get the Infiniti nor the Nissan, so they're import only. The Nissan, I believe they made about 13,000, and I also believe maybe about 3,000 or 4,000 of them were manual, the rest were automatic. So yes, it's automatic, but I didn't have £7,000 to buy a manual at the time, and this was just about 3.5, so half the price. Anyway, so a rundown of the car. So it's got Rotor GTRs. I have painted them twice now. They're currently sat in black. I've got teen coilovers, 25mm spaces on the front as the fitment is weak and I could do with changing them. Custom fabricated exhaust, made to a cheap eBay Y pipe with a Blitz Cannon. It has a G35 spoiler on, which I did take off as I do prefer them without spoilers, but there is many holes in the boot, so that will be staying on. The most recent change is the front bumper. This is a Ken style front bumper, picked up from EP Racing. He's had it in his warehouse for many years. It was a bit knackered, but it was cheap. Had it painted by a company called Midnight Garage. Did an amazing job, even with all the troubles they had actually getting it painted. The fiberglass was pretty awful, but he did a great job and it looks amazing, and it completely transforms the car because the front end of these is the weakest point because of how soft and shallow the front bumper is. And this is our Daihatsu Copen. This is the 660cc turbo version, as if you're going to get a K car, you might as well do it properly and get the correct platform really. Yes, there's a 1.3 litre version, but 660cc with a turbo, fun. So, how did this happen? This is mine and my wife's joint project car. So, back last year at Japfest, we were walking around. I always take my cars to the car shows. My wife's taken one of her cars to a car show, and I'll put a picture of it. This was back when I had my FN2 Type R, and she had a lovely Cooper S Coupe, and it was stupendously good, but we had to get rid of it due to my treatment. Anyway, she's never really had a project car. We've always discussed maybe getting like an MX-5 to jointly teach her how to work on cars and maybe teach her how to drift, which I don't even know how to do. So we've got now BC coilovers, work wheels, white line camber bolts on the front as there's no camber adjustment in the coilovers, big wing which came off of a 350Z, and when I measured and checked dimensions online, I believe the wing is 10mm narrower than the car, so it is literally perfect and it suits the car so well. And custom exhaust done by Custom Welding Fabrication, I believe. This was inspired by, we were watching a lot of Copen meets in Japan, and this was inspired by that. We wanted the tips to stick out of the bumper on purpose to get that full JDM look, and then the Blossoms livery, just to make it was ridiculous anyway, but the livery just makes it so much more ridiculous. This car gets attention everywhere, and that was the whole point of it. Just make it the car that grabs it. You could be parked next to a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, and I can assure you that this is what people are going to, because it is so stupid and it is so fun. So our plans for this, we would like to change the colour of the car. The paintwork is terrible. Half of it's a different colour. The lacquer's peeling, the rear bumper's crazed like crazy. So we want to wrap the car at some point. So the livery will be coming off, but it was just like a rush to get it ready for shows last year. We enjoyed it. The wraps, it looks great, but maybe we'll do a different wrap for the next show season. Currently the car is has got no MOT. It's going to be sat for a while due to pregnancy. So I'm going to spend the next year kind of tidying things up, maybe adding a few more bits. The engine bay really needs brackets and just things replacing and cleaning up. So that's the plan for now. Maybe some bucket seats. I'd love to track this car. The dream is I take the Skyline on track, the wife takes the Copen on track, and we can just have a great time in both of them. I can teach her how to drive fast on track, or faster on track, as obviously she's never driven on a track before, and that would be hilarious. Track the Copen, track the Skyline. Skyline's pretty much ready. That would just need maintenance bits, and the Copen also needs maintenance bits. And that's really about it. Both cars currently have very similar plans for me. Obviously the Skyline's engine bay wise is fine, there's not really anything I need to do in there. The Copen needs a lot of work in the engine bay, the battery's flat as well, needs an MOT, so it's just gonna get tinkered on for the year. So that's it for now. Welcome to the channel. I hope I can answer any questions if anyone has any questions about cancer, living with it, or even the cars. I'd much prefer to talk about the cars, but I am happy to be here to help and support other people, and I hope you guys help and support me. I'm not here for money, I'm here for enjoyment and something creative that I enjoy doing to pass my time. So for now, I guess it's just as the slogan says, fuck cancer and encourage cars.